Right, Thursday night on the espresso machine. I thought I'd come out and do a little bit. Last time after I did the video, I left the machine all full of water and came back the next morning and found it had emptied itself all over my workbench. So clearly some things to address there. Namely, let's have a look. It's the where we put the boiler end gasket back on. We've got this new gasket here. The gasket the gasket destroyed itself on the way out, the old fibre or paper gasket. So we've got this new Teflon gasket here. It wasn't manufactured perfectly. It didn't sit down quite perfectly flat. So found that some water had got away. So I just needed to tighten it all down a bit more and all of that. Right, what else have I done? Ce soir, took the old 3.5 kilowatt element out actually. So I was going to keep that in for the sake of keeping the machine a bit more powerful. Now this machine, yeah, I took the 3.5 kilowatt element out because 3.5 kilowatts won't run safely on a domestic 13 amp supply. All right, so if you're doing anything like this at home, don't plug a 3.5 kilowatt espresso machine into your 13 amp supply. I did do that and have done several times in the past, and it's been all right. This time I plugged it in and then I went to unplug it and the plug was red hot. It was really, really hot. So yeah, so I've took that out and put the 2750 watt element in there, which is going to slow the machine down a bit, but it will play nicely with a standard 2. You just be able to plug it in with a 3-pin plug now. So that's pretty handy really, because you know I don't know what I'm going to do with this machine once I've finished it. Either going to use it for odd jobs, gigs here and there, or I'm going to rent it out, or I'm going to sell it or something. It just makes it more versatile. It'll work. You don't need a 16 amp 20 amp supply to run it, so with the 2750. So yeah, that's a bit of an advantage. What else have we done? I've replaced the safety valve here. So this is the valve which, if everything goes wrong, this is your last line of defence to stop this copper cylinder becoming a bomb. So what this does is if the pressure gets too high in the machine, this will release and it'll release all the pressure out. Bought the poshest one I could get from the suppliers, because if you can buy a cheap one or you can buy an expensive one, and it's the thing that prevents the machine turning into a bomb, then buy the expensive one, I reckon. Yeah, here it is. It's got this, where is it? There you go. You could tell it's posh. It's got this natty little dog tag thing. It looks like Willem Dafoe in Platoon. Look at it. It's good. What else have we done? Pressure stat. Yeah, pressure stat. We've replaced the pressure stat, which is this guy here. Let me talk to you about pressure stats. So pressure stats, what they do is they control the pressure in the boiler. Where's the old one I just took off? Hang on a minute. Right. This is the old pressure stat. So what happens is on the bottom here, that little inlet there, that's for steam. So there's a line comes out of the boiler, connects onto there, and then steam goes into there. And what that does is the steam operates a rubber diaphragm, which is in this sort of round bit, and that pushes up against that spring. So when the boiler gets to a certain pressure, the spring contracts, and then that spring compresses rather, and then that opens up the contacts. So where all these screws are, you've got the one side the live coming in from the switch, the other side is live going out to the heating element. So once the pressure becomes sufficiently high, it contracts that spring, and that opens up the switch, which breaks the contact, which means that the machine no longer heats. So it gets up to a pressure, breaks the contact, it stops heating, and then when the machine cools down a little bit, the pressure drops, the spring expands again and allows the contact to come, and the heating element comes back on. And you can hear it cycling. You'll hear it going click, click. If you're ever in a quiet moment with your espresso machine, you'll hear it clicking on and off if you've got a shonky old machine like this one rather than a nice modern one with an electric temperature controller. Yeah, that's what that does. So yeah, they last basically forever, but it's 20 years old, and the rubber diaphragm thing gets weak, and it causes a larger dead band. So the point between the element coming on and coming off, you want that to be as short as possible to get you a nice regular temperature in your boiler. That's called the what do you call that? The dead band, something. Yeah, you want that to be as small as possible. So putting a new one in was gonna help with that. What else have we done this evening? Oh yeah, group heads. I took the group heads off these fellas. This for the part of the thermosiphon. It's grandly named. Bit that sort of regulates temperature in the group heads to give you nice consistent temperature for making your coffee. These are the venerable E61 group head design. So right, took those off. I've took the gasket and the group seal gasket, which goes, I'm trying to point with the same finger I'm holding my phone with. Right, so inside there's like a bayonet seal thing. You see how nasty that is? Look, it's all got crusted on coffee. It's got sort of coppery, powdery shit from descaling and all of that. So I'm going to take these. I want to take this solenoid off the bottom. That exhausts the excess pressure in the thing at the end of your shot. And then I'm going to soak these in detergent overnight, and then I'm going to scrub them and get them back all looking pretty and nice. And then I'm going to bolt them back on the machine. Well, I'm not going to bolt them straight back on the machine. What I'll then do is I'll start putting the bodywork back on, because I'm feeling fairly confident now that any leaks will be isolated between the front of the machine and the back of the machine, so I can safely put the front plate back on, which I've polished nicely. Can talk about that a little bit on that video. Yeah. Oh yeah, the other thing, that heating element I've put on there, it's got different terminals on it. Would have, wouldn't it? So here you see the new heating element there. It's got these spade connectors on it. The old one had these bolt down little ring connector terminals. So my wiring that I've got has got ring connector terminals on it. So I'm going to have to chop them off and crimp some spade connectors on. So that's a trip down to somewhere to get some of those. Yeah, so I think we can get this mostly buttoned up tomorrow. I'm going to need to get some PTFE tape tomorrow for this leaking little bit. Where are you? Here, yeah, that little joint between these two bits. Look at my fingers, what a state. It's lime scale and citric acid and shit on there. Yeah, for between these two bits here, that's leaking, causing us a problem. And then we're mostly done. The back panel is being sign written, hand painted. It's doing a nice paint job on the back panel. My mate Bill Pollard, also known as Goodwill Painting, for all your painting needs, painted the doors on the shop. Doing some rather wonderful artwork installations around town. Check him out. Yeah, we'll show you that when that's done, and then yeah, get this done, and then think of a use for it. So happy days. See you soon. Fuck me. See you soon.